We have to talk about Manchester United, the biggest club in England, maybe the world? 13 Premier League titles under Sir Alex Ferguson, and since he retired in 2013, they've spent over £1.5 billion, sacked a small army of managers, and even lost a European final to Spurs. If you told me in 2013 that 12 years later United would be level with Liverpool on 20 league titles, I'd have offered you a lie down and a glass of water. So, what happened to Manchester United after Fergie? Sir Alex Ferguson's last game for Man United came on the 19th of May in 2013. There were very emotional scenes as arguably the best British manager of all time bowed out with a record-breaking 5-5 draw at the Hawthorns. The Fergie dynasty was over, and his hand-picked replacement was David Moyes, the chosen one.
It's a step up, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
Can he handle it?
I don't know, mate. It's, you know.
He knows how to bring these young players on and team spirit.
27 years is not a poison challenge, it's a challenge. It's not a poison challenge because it's a great club, it's got great support.
Chosen, of course, by Ferguson himself. Backed by a 6-year contract, he was the man to carry on the dynasty. It lasted 10 months. United came 7th, their lowest finish in the Premier League, and failed to qualify for the Champions League for the first time since 1995.
So for the Glazers, trusting Moyes with a £150 million transfer kitty was a leap of faith too far.
Let's speak to Jeff, who's a Man United fan in Salford. How you doing, Jeff?
This Man United situation, I just can't believe that we're going through this at the moment. It's so negative. It's not the Man United that we know.
But Moyes wasn't the only story. The bigger change came upstairs. When Ferguson walked away in 2013, he didn't just leave a hole in the dugout, he left a vacuum at the top of the entire club. Alongside him, longtime Chief Executive David Gill also stepped down. For over a decade, Gill had been Ferguson's right-hand man in the boardroom, handling the transfer market with a steady, pragmatic hand. In his place stepped Ed Woodward. Now, Woodward was a genius when it came to the business side of football. Within months of taking charge, he had sponsors lined up from every corner of the globe. The most significant of those was the pioneering 7-year shirt deal with Chevrolet, signed in 2014, which brought the club in nearly £400 million. United became a commercial juggernaut. But the problem was obvious. While the money was rolling in, the football strategy was not. Woodward had never run the sporting side of a football club, and suddenly decisions about recruitment and contracts and long-term planning were being made by a man whose background was in banking and marketing, not scouting or coaching. That was the turning point. The football men had gone and the money men had taken over, and Manchester United would spend the next decade paying the price. With commercial revenue flooding in, United had money to spend. And boy did they spend. More than £1.5 billion to be exact since Ferguson retired. But the results, a transfer hall of shame. Paul Pogba, £89 million, left on a free. Twice. Angel Di Maria, £60 million, gone after 1 season. Harry Maguire, £80 million, the world's most expensive defender, now more famous for his memes than his medals. And Alexis Sanchez, £500,000 a week, a dramatic piano-playing announcement, and 5 goals to show for it. And Fred, £50 million. We don't need to emphasise that one. This wasn't strategy, it was panic buying. While clubs like Liverpool and City had clear recruitment models, United lurched from one big-name signing to the next. Each summer promised a statement window, and each season delivered a disappointment.
Seismic news coming out of Manchester United this morning. No massive surprise given the club's dreadful run of form.
Managers came and went, each with their own vision, none given the time or structure to succeed. David Moyes was followed by Ryan Giggs on a brief caretaker spell. Then came Louis van Gaal, who promised philosophy and delivered tedious football and some simply baffling signings. Next up, Jose Mourinho, the special one. He won the League Cup and the Europa League, but the relationship soured quickly. As always, by year 3 he was fighting with the board, the players, and quite possibly himself. After Mourinho came Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, the club legend, the nostalgia pick. His reign gave fans some memorable nights. Paris away, the odd comeback, but ultimately no trophies and no clear direction. Then came Ralf Rangnick as interim, touted as the godfather of pressing football. He quickly realised the players he had weren't built for it. It felt less like a football project and more like 6 months of brutally honest therapy. Then Erik ten Hag arrived. With discipline and a clear philosophy, he ended the trophy drought with a League Cup, and it looked like the start of stability. But even he couldn't escape United's turbulence, clashing with players and struggling for consistency as chaos swirled off the pitch. Despite adding an FA Cup win in his second season, Ten Hag was sacked in October last year, which brings us to Ruben Amorim. But we'll come back to him.
Britain's biggest football club today all but sold off to an American billionaire.
The fans were hoping the public listing would help pay off the club's $661 million debt pile.
A lot going on out there in the world of football business, a lot of it happening around Manchester United.
Well, why is silence an appropriate response when so many people are worried in Manchester, sir? Is there nothing you can say to Manchester United?
At the heart of it all, the Glazers. When they took over in 2005, it was via a leveraged buyout, meaning United were saddled with huge debts the club itself had to pay back. For years, money has flowed out in dividends, not into the squad or into the stadium. Old Trafford, once the theatre of dreams, is literally leaking, while City build a state-of-the-art campus and Liverpool have modernised Anfield. United stood still. Meanwhile, their rivals weren't just buying smart, they were building systems. City with cheeky Begiristan and Guardiola, Liverpool with Michael Edwards and Klopp, United were left scrambling, living off past glory. And the fans noticed, big time. The anger wasn't just online hashtags, it spilled into real life. Glazers out protests became part of the United story. In 2021, when the European Super League debacle hit, fans stormed Old Trafford. A Premier League game against Liverpool was postponed because thousands of fans refused to let the team buses through. That's how deep the distrust had grown.
Just carry on all season till it finishes, and whatever happens then, we're not going to let this go now.
We've got this on camera. Good.
I think it was inherently flawed succession planning, and I don't think they took account seriously the opportunity to look at the whole club from the bottom to the top, say where were we, where are we going.
The structural problem was clear. Football decisions were being made by people who simply didn't understand football, while other clubs hired sporting directors, analysts and scouts to build coherent recruitment models. United were dithering on targets until deadline day, and often ending up paying the wrong price for the wrong player. And that's the tragedy of United in the Glazer era. The money was always there, the resources were always there, but the vision and structure just weren't. On the pitch, the culture mirrored the chaos upstairs. Without Ferguson's iron grip, players became bigger than the club. Dressing room leaks were common, managers were undermined, stars arrived with these huge reputations but very little discipline. Zlatan bought charisma, Ronaldo bought headlines, and Pogba's hairstyles often bought more coverage than his performances. Sancho's standoff with Ten Hag became yet another soap opera. Under Sir Alex, no one was bigger than Manchester United. Cantona, Keane, Beckham, Rooney, they all fell in line under Fergie. Post-Ferguson, however, players outlasted managers and the power balance tilted in all the wrong directions.
Manchester United fans' ears pricked up last night, did they not? When they heard that Sir Jim Ratcliffe, the billionaire, wants to buy a stake in Manchester United.
Yeah, I think Ratcliffe is. I think he's the right man for the job.
I think it's really positive for the club. I think lifelong United supporters have waited a long time for this.
I think it's a very good thing. I think he's going in the right direction.
As sure as the sun will rise, Manchester United will start to win again. It's a fact. When that is, I don't know.
Give us a little bit of time, try to be patient, and we'll try to build Manchester United back to where it should be.
After a decade of drift, 2024 finally brought a new chapter. Ineos. Sir Jim Ratcliffe's company acquired a 27.7% stake in Man United, marking a significant shift in the club's operations. Ratcliffe's ambition was clear: to restore United to its former glory and challenge the dominance of Man City and Liverpool. He envisioned a Wembley of the North and aimed to end United's 11-year wait for a Premier League title. However, the journey has not been smooth. Ratcliffe's first major appointment, Dan Ashworth as sporting director, ended abruptly after just 5 months. Reports suggested Ashworth felt sidelined, particularly regarding the managerial change from Erik ten Hag to Ruben Amorim. In a candid interview with Gary Neville, Ratcliffe acknowledged his mistakes, including the timing of Ten Hag's sacking and the handling of player acquisitions. He criticised certain players as not good enough and overpaid, emphasising the need for a total squad overhaul. Despite these challenges, Ratcliffe remains committed to United's long-term success. He continues to back manager Ruben Amorim and is focused on rebuilding the squad and infrastructure. The road ahead is uncertain, but for the first time in years, there's a clear vision for the club's future. There is a clear vision for the club's future, isn't there?
3-4-3 attacking football, but also defensive. I think it could be a good move.
It's going to be amazing. It's a new beginning and we're all going to get behind him.
We've been down this road before, haven't we? Credentials, Ten Hag had credentials.
So, back to Ruben Amorim. The fresh face brought in from Sporting in 2024. He's young, tactically sharp, and a coach that was admired across Europe. He represents another reset, another new era. But at United, the question is always the same. How long is it before the cycle repeats? And yet again, United find themselves asking a familiar question. Is the current manager the right man for the job? Amorim was undoubtedly a risky appointment. His short managerial career was limited to the Portuguese league. After joining in November 2024, United finished 15th, that's right, 15th in his first season, and seemingly threw all their eggs into the Europa League basket, only to lose it to Spurs. Since Amorim took over, one of his biggest flashpoints has been his feud with Marcus Rashford. Reports suggest clashes over tactics, fitness and leadership. Rashford, of course, a key figure and club icon. He voiced his frustration over his role, making the conflict very public. Amorim may have vision, but he inherited a mess. Poor league form, a fractured squad, and intense pressure from fans and the media. But Amorim hasn't done much to ease these concerns. A poor start to this season, and he could easily become another casualty in Manchester United's revolving door managerial history. Since Sir Alex Ferguson retired, Man United have now spent £1.5 billion, had 8 managers, won 4 major trophies, and endured endless speculation, protests, and instability. It's fair to say United's biggest rival over the past decade hasn't been City or Liverpool like they would have expected, it's been themselves.